Well, I think these type of spring games really show you how far you have to come and all the small things you got to do in order to execute and score points. And I think our offense definitely struggled early on. It was good to see the defense step up and play aggressive and play with enthusiasm and make plays. And fortunately, we had enough toughness on offense to respond in the second half and come back and do a little bit better job. But we definitely have a lot to work on, and this game shows that. And we've got to just get a lot of guys healthy and ready to go for summer workouts, and hopefully August 1, have everybody back full speed, and then we've got to have a great camp.
You feel like you got what you wanted to accomplish in spring practice overall?
Without question, I do. I think we worked hard up front on the offensive line, and even though we were thin there, the key components, show that they've improved a little bit and they're getting better. And there are some guys we want to continue to have step up and do a good job. They've showed some signs. We still need more from them because we want to make sure we get them in the rotation. I think on defense we have depth, and it's just a matter of certain guys emerging as playmakers, because really depth is good to have, but at the same time there's only 11 guys on the field, and the 11 on the field have to beat the other team's 11, so you got to be really good and efficient, and so we just want playmakers to emerge along with the depth in order for us to improve and win.
From an injury standpoint, all the guys that were out for spring, do you anticipate all them being ready for the start of camp?
I think as of right now, Sanusi King could not be ready for camp. Other than that, we're hopeful that all can be ready for August 1.
What's Sanusi's issue?
He got injured in the spring and had surgery, Saturday, yesterday, and we're going to try to get him. It's a hip injury. We're going to try to get him back as fast as we can, but it will take a while.
Jeff, talk about the quarterback, starting with Aiden and of course, Michael and Brady Allen. Just kind of get a sense of how I thought you
Gotcha.
played today.
Well, I think Aiden this spring had a really good spring. Today wasn't his best day, but sometimes it's good for really good quarterbacks that have had success to struggle a little bit. And when things aren't going well, you've got to be smart enough to throw balls away and not take sacks and just be able to hang in there and not force things. So it's good that happened because you wanted to. But before that, he was really sharp this spring. I think Austin Burton gives us a little bit of mobility in the pocket and some experience, and definitely will be in the mix, and we've got to be able to utilize him. I think he can run as well, and he's good when he can get him out on the edge. I think Michael Amo really had an excellent camp. Really did. Threw the ball well, understands our offense better, really took some big steps this spring to prove that he's right there in the mix of playing and getting ready to go in there. So I was happy to see that. And, of course, Brady Allen is young. He's got a lot of promise. He's got a good arm. Just understanding things, the speed of the game, something that you have to get adjusted to. And the fact that he got a lot of 15 practices in, will give him a lot of film to study and learn from the things that happen and just really grasp the offense. I just think he's got to just continue to study and learn to grasp the offense. When he does that, he'll be really efficient.
Just how about Tyrone Tracy? Obviously, playing in a bunch of different roles here today in the spring game. Trick plays, wide receiver, running back, just every which way on the offense. Just how has he progressed, I guess, so far from the start of the spring up until now?
Tyrone's had an excellent spring. He's worked really hard for somebody that has played a lot of football. He came in here, didn't miss one practice, went hard, played receiver, running back. We're going to utilize him at both spots. I think, just smoothing things out a little bit and being crisp is what we got to just really concentrate on. But as far as the desire to want to do great things and the athletic ability and toughness, and he has it. So we're happy to have him, and we got to just continue to work him and make sure that he becomes as sharp as he possibly can.
What do you think of Samson James today?
Well, Samson, he's had some moments in spring. He's finally got back practicing with us. I think, getting live action is important to him, and we just got to continue to work with him. I think, once again, the more he understands what to do, the better he'll be, and he just got to continue to push through it. And but he definitely, has some ability, and we just got to continue to work with him.
What makes Preston Terrell fit your gadget plays?
Well, a lot of times we just want to put some things on film where others have to watch it, and some of these we just kind of put in maybe yesterday, and we figured out who could throw a little bit, and we just took a couple swings at it. Some worked, some didn't, like always. But we want to have a little fun with it. But Preston, played a little quarterback growing up, and he can throw a little bit, and we just definitely want to have that in our arsenal. I think if you can show that you have that package, then hopefully it softens things up, and you can figure out ways to run the ball better.
Jeff, how good can this defense be?
Well, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I think that we definitely understand the system. We have a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, and we have some depth behind it. And that's with a lot of guys that didn't practice this spring. So I feel like when we get all these guys back, as long as they're hungry and as long as they know all the small things it takes to win at a high level, I think we should be a very good defense, and I expect that. And I think early on we challenged things and we sat on routes and we got it for the quarterback. And when you're doing that, good things are going to happen. So we want to set the bar high, and I think our guys want to as well.
Just the depth that you've put together on the defensive line. I mean, Mark had talked earlier this spring about potentially having 3 groups to rotate in there. Do you still feel like you're at that point, and how much will that defensive line maybe be a strength early on for you coming up in the fall?
Well, we do have depth, and I think from day one since I got here, we've tried to always err on over-signing at the defensive line and offensive line position, because you have to have it. And as good as your skill guys can be, if you don't have that, especially in our conference, you're not going to win. So we have built some depth on the D-line, and I do think we'll be able to rotate. And now I don't know if the third group is quite where we want it to be to rotate in there all the time, but it's pretty daggone close, and that's good. On the offensive side, we've tried to do the same thing. We're definitely not 3 deep, so we have a ways to go there. We have 4 freshmen coming in, and we have some other things we're working on as well to add to that depth and hopefully a little experience. But we do feel confident with 7 guys that have played for us and shown they can play, and then there's another 3 that just got to continue to push forward and get better. But it's not the depth we'd like to have, but we just got to continue to work at it, and we've got to keep the ones that we have healthy, and that's going to be important.
Do you anticipate much turnover from a roster standpoint here now that spring's over from your own standpoint?
Well, I think every year it's important as a coaching staff we're honest with all of our guys. We assess where we see them standing right now after 15 practices and the previous season, and let them know where they stand on the depth chart. And some guys are willing to work through things if they're not happy where they're at. Others may want a chance to go play. So we want to support all their decisions. We kind of don't predetermine anything. It's just about having conversations and making sure people know exactly where they stand, and then we adjust from there.
How would you rate Brady Allen today?
Well, Brady is a great young man. He really cares. He works hard. He's got a good arm. He's got good size. It has been great that he's come in this spring because he's had 15 practices against college football players, and the speed of the game is something that he's had to get adjusted to. Learning the terminology is an adjustment, and those are things that will always happen. And the fact that it's able to happen while he's still a senior in high school is great. We'll continue to work through that, but we're happy as heck to have him, and we think he has a bright future, and we just got to continue to work at it. Things don't happen overnight, especially at the quarterback position, especially against the teams we play. So he's just got to be willing to spend the time to get better, and we'll spend the time with him for sure.
Will he be redshirted this year, or is that still to be decided?
Well, we won't predetermine anything. I think we've built a little bit of depth there, and we'll always assess where he stands. But we've had some years where we've had to go down to the 4th quarterback if that's where he ends up on the depth chart right now. We've had other years where we haven't. So either way, he's got to be ready to go, and we're going to prepare him to play.